Germany, especially Bavaria in summer. Summer is a really cool season. I mean, all seasons are good. I actually like all seasons, although I'm not so good with the cold. But a nice cold winter can actually be lovely if you have lots of snow and you can go out and drink glühwein and Christmas markets, but that's another separate video anyway. I talked about the great things about German summers, and today I'm going to talk about the not so great things. I'm not going to word it as strongly as things I hate about German summers, but essentially it's things that really, really annoy me about summer in Germany, and especially Bavaria, but I think actually this goes nationwide to Germany. So I try not to whinge too much, but I can go on a bit of a rant because I start to get a little bit riled about the things that really annoy me, and I'm a little bit grumpy today because I had to clean up the kitchen at 6 o'clock this morning. So that's still carrying over into now. But that aside, let's start out with number 1, heat. Germany has amazing summers. It has amazing seasons, it has cold winters and hot summers. Now some summers can be a little bit more washed out, but if you're from the UK, it's hot. On a really cool, nice, okay summer's day in Germany, or let's just talk about Bavaria, let's say, it can be sort of 27, 28 degrees, which is to me really pleasant hot, and a really nice hot summer's day in the UK. Here that's cool. It's especially once you get to July and August, it goes into like the mid-30s sometimes. A couple of weeks ago, we had a massive heat wave. We had temperatures up to like 38 degrees centigrade. I'm not sure what Fahrenheit it's, I'll put it somewhere here. 37 degrees approximately is body temperature, so you're talking about that temperature or higher, 100 and something, I don't know. But anyway, the heat can be pretty brutal. We have quite a cool house because we have insulation that the previous owners installed, which is great. It keeps it quite cool in summer as long as you keep the doors shut. I noticed when the doors were open, the heat would be coming in. Windows, doors shut, very much the Mediterranean style where they put the shutters down and the blinds down. We don't have blinds here. A lot of German houses, flats, and especially all new builds have these shutters that go down and give you complete blackout. Also keep the sun out. Not our house. So the sun, we have a south-facing garden. The sun shines in, you get hot. And if you're outside, you burn your feet on the terrace. The heat is insane, especially if you go into the city. Like any city, the heat is unbearable. It goes up to maybe 40 degrees because of the whole concrete and the asphalt and everything reflecting the heat. And to add to that, there's basically no air conditioning. Offices in general don't have air conditioning. If they do, then they're just freezing cold. But most of them don't. They have windows you can open, which is my personal favourite anyway, is to get the fresh air, and as long as you can get a draft through, it's fine. But if it gets that hot, then you would like the option of air conditioning. I'm actually quite lucky in the office we moved to back in March that we don't have any air conditioning and it's super, super hot. It's above the dealership, so it's a bit of a scummy office now, unfortunately. But we have one of these air conditioning units on the wall opposite my desk. I'm the only person who has one basically in that office. There's some other people that sometimes come in. But when it was really hot, the big boss came and sat next to me because he went, sod this, I'm not sitting on the oven over there. So there is a slow increase in air conditioning. But ultimately, it's not the thing. It never has been a thing because it's bad for you. The air's bad for you. You don't want to sit in air-conditioned cold offices if it's hot outside. It's not good for your health to switch between hot and cold. And if you can bear the heat, which I generally can, then it's actually a better thing. And it's nice because it's summer. I mean, we want heat in summer. We don't want cold. So be prepared if you come here for the summer for no air conditioning. And we're talking offices. We're talking the transport system. They sort of are supposed to, but it just doesn't work. It's hot. And the ones that do have them apparently then don't have windows you can open, so they're actually worse than the ones that don't have air conditioning where you can open the windows and at least you get some air coming through. So I think the traditional U-Bahns, the old ones from 50 years ago, and obviously they've built new ones since then, but they still have a lot of the older ones in use. You can tilt all the little windows, and so if you go underground, at least you get a bit of a draft. Unlike the tube, where you just, well, maybe you can open some of them as well, I don't know, same kind of thing. But it's hot. It's really hot. And, you know, if you grow up here, then opening a window is enough for you. People go, yeah, it's fine, I've got the window open. And especially if you go on the trains, it's hot and people are hot. And if you go in rush hour, you're crammed in. It's the usual arms, armpits. Whew. It's bad. So the heat is extreme, and you often honestly just want to stand in front of your fridge and open it. Now the advantage of having a little house like we have is that we do have a cellar, and the cellar is always quite cold. It's cool, it's a bit damp, it's not too bad. Our neighbours have a really bad damp problem, and if you're really hot you can just go down there. We set up a mini playroom down there, but it was not so great in winter. But for summertime it's actually a really good place to go. There's no sunlight or direct light, so you don't want to spend your time down there. In the past, when we lived in our first flat when we first moved here, it was a new build, and we had a cellar which was also called a hobbyraum, where it's not quite living space, but it is. And you had the window, you had the gutter at the top, and then a big window, so you had a shaft of light coming down into the room. And we actually moved our bedroom down there because it was much cooler in summer and it was really pleasant, and it was new and there was no damp and we had carpets, so it was a nice compromise. But the heat is bad, so bring fans, paper ones, electric ones, squirty water bottles, anything. It's hot. Number 2, nature is out to get you. Let's start with the wasps, shall we? End of July, the wasps get kicked out of the hive. Before that, they're working to get all the pollen and everything for the wasp queen, and that's why you see them milling around, but they're rarely sting you, they're rarely aggressive. They might come into the kitchen a bit and out, but there's not much aggression. But around the end of July, beginning of August, is when they get kicked out, because it's heading towards the end of summer, sort of. I mean, for the creatures, obviously it is. And then they have nothing to eat, and they know they're dying because most wasps die. They have, this 1-year life cycle. And they then are hungry. A cornered, hungry, dying animal is not something you want around you, but they're everywhere. The wasps are insane. The wasps are completely insane. They're aggressive. They are just this vitriolic, spiteful little piece of stinginess that will just attack you if you go anywhere near them. Generally they're okay. If you stand still, they might move away, but as it even progresses then throughout August and into September, they get even more aggressive. You can't eat outside from this point onwards. You can't have any soft drinks. Your beer, you get special lids you can put on your beers and beer gardens, because they come for everything. And meat, they love just food, everything. Beer gardens become a hellhole of waspness, especially if you're anywhere near the bins. I mean, they're just horrendous, and they're so awful. And being stung by a wasp is so annoying. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's pretty bloody painful. And if you've got kids who get stung by wasps, you know it because you hear them screaming as they get stung. And the wasp just goes, nah, not sorry, flies off, grows a stinger back, stings someone else. Bees, I love. I have a bee-friendly garden, which obviously is also a wasp-friendly garden, but even if you had a concrete garden, you would still have wasps when it comes to sort of late July onwards, because they just are desperate for food, and it's horrible. You even get the little sugar things in like cafes where you kind of pour it out proportionately. It's like a glass jar with a lid and a sticky pointy thing. They actually fly into there, and you see the wasps inside the sugar. And at bakers, these beautiful glass vitrines that you have where you can see what to buy, they're just full of wasps. All the cakes full of wasps. It's so disgusting. It's so horrible. I mean, they're not unhygienic like flies, but it's just horrible seeing all these wasps. So yes, wasps are one thing. Second one of that one, mosquitoes. I know we're landlocked pretty much here. We're very far from the seaside, and the sea doesn't have mosquitoes anyway because it's constantly moving. Mosquitoes like still water, and we do have tiger mosquitoes here. They've come from Asia. They went to further north and west, and Italy has had a tiger mosquito problem for quite a long time, for many years, and they have now made it over into southern Germany. Tiger mosquitoes are actually slightly smaller than normal mosquitoes, and they're stripy like a tiger, which is why they're called tiger mosquitoes. But they can bite you through jeans and clothing, so you need to really protect yourself and spray yourself all over. And they also hurt a lot more when they bite you. It just puffs up. If you have any slight allergy against anything, then you'll just puff up like hives sometimes. They really hurt, and they also like to be out in daytime, which is just great. So you've got no protection if they're around, then you just have to spray yourself. And then you've got the chemicals with the spray, so you find natural sprays, but it's all just an extra layer of protection you need on top of sunscreen, obviously, with the sun, which is blazingly hot and can burn you within half an hour if you're not careful and aren't wearing protection. Mosquitoes love still water, so people try and persuade other people, look, empty out any water when we have massive downpours, which is alternating at the moment. Hot sunny days, massive downpours. A breeding ground for mosquitoes, and you just try and empty out buckets, but I can in fact see some water out there now that's been there for a few days. I'm going to have to empty it out because otherwise we're going to get mozzies in our room. And there's my childhood memories are of this sound buzzing around our room, and I'd put the light on and look for it. Couldn't see it. Turn light out. Turn the light on again, then you'd spot it. And we'd have squashed mosquitoes everywhere. And we have them here. I can see a squashed one there. There's a squashed one over there in the ceiling. I'm an animal lover. I used to be a vegetarian. I will not kill anything, even spiders, just are gently put outside by someone else, not me. Flies even, just try and get them outside. Mosquitoes, death. Death to all mosquitoes. I actually, not to want to use this word too much, I hate them with a passion. I hate them so much. They're bloodsuckers and they hurt me and they keep me awake at night, and they bite my children. And I don't like anything that bites my children. My poor girl, she woke up one morning, she had her face covered in bites and her bum because she was, I don't know, sticking her bum out under the cover. But it was just horrible. I hate them. I hate them so much. Yeah, and I just mentioned the sun. The sun is very strong. Very, very strong. I'm sure I grew up here as a kid. It didn't used to be like this. We didn't used to put suntan lotion on back in the kind of late 70s, early 80s. Maybe we did, but not as much. And we played out in the sun all day and we never burned. I don't have any memories of burning until I was a teenager. So it's definitely stronger than it used to be. And people do say this anyway, especially around lunchtime. Mad dogs and Englishmen is when we tend to go outside. But even if you don't, you need to wear a cap. You can get sunstroke. You can get burnt pretty quickly, and you can feel it. You can feel the heat just tingling on your skin. So always wear sunscreen. I always wear factor 50, but even face everywhere, even if it's cloudy. I try to remember. If I don't remember, it's okay. I don't burn that easily, but I have quite olive skin, but that's not the point. You need to protect yourself just aging, because it stops the lines. It stops aging. SPF 50 is top because it's pretty much the highest you can get. 30 is also okay depending on how used to your skin is to the sun. But the sun is strong and dangerous, so be prepared. Number 3, parenting perils. Now if you have kids here, you know that there are loads and loads of playgrounds in the city of Munich, and also generally it's a really kid-friendly country, kid-friendly place. It's not kid-friendly on telling off kids, but it's kid-friendly on providing entertainment and free things like playgrounds. It's really great. Great parks, great water parks, playgrounds. Like I said in my last video, you have playgrounds with water features in them that kids can play, mini fountains. You know, they provide for everyone who lives in the city as well as in the country. But there is no real shade. Where the beer gardens have these huge chestnut trees, so all the grown-ups drinking beer can be nice and cool, the kids in the playground next to you, more often than not, will be in blazing sunlight. There might be trees around it that get a bit of shade in the morning or late afternoon, but very rarely when you actually need the shade. So the kids that aren't wearing sun hats and everything will get burned or sunstroke, and it's just so hot. It's so hot. And you have these fantastic big metal slides in parks and you can't go in them because the metal gets just scorchingly hot. You could fry an egg on them. Just unbelievable. So the heat in the playgrounds is just awful, just horrendous. And they're not concrete, at least. They quite often have AstroTurf stuff, or the squidgy thing you have in tennis courts. But it's hot and unbearable. And the chains on the swings, for example, they have big heavy chains, and it's just painful. Painful and hot, and the kids don't like it. And then there's obviously also the summer holidays. We have 6 weeks summer holidays a year. Germany actually staggers it. Each state starts sort of a week apart, I think. I think Berlin is pretty much the first one to start end of May. And they're about to go back to school, I think. It's really apart, and each week approximately one state goes on summer holidays. So it's not the whole country in one go, which is actually a really great move. So you don't have everyone going on holiday at the same time and the roads clogged up more than they are already. And Bavaria is actually last, which I quite like. So end of July, we always break up, and then we go back to school like sort of the second week of September. It's actually the 16th of September this year, which is really late. I feel like we should have broken up a week earlier, but the 31st of July is the last day of school, and then the kids have 6 weeks. And it's great if you have 6 weeks. If you're a teacher, great. If you're a working parent, you only get 6 weeks holiday a year only. We're lucky, we get 30 days, 6 weeks. But obviously I can't take all that in the summer holidays. I'm lucky my husband works part-time, so he obviously looks after most of the time. I can work from home a lot of the time, but working from home and looking after 2 kids is not a viable option unless you give them screen time, which I'm not doing because then they fight. They can entertain themselves most of the time, but that's not the point. You do need to parent there. You do have summer courses. My daughter's gone on a circus camp when she was 6, which she absolutely hated. And she's gone on theatre camp last year, which was in English. The language was an issue back then anyway. At actually St George's School, which is a huge private English school, the other side from where we live. And it was amazing facilities, and it was run by a UK company that's called British Theatre Camp or something. And she spent all week rehearsing. Then they had a play that we watched Friday afternoon, and that was really cool. But it's expensive. You're talking well into 3 figures for just a week, and they didn't even provide lunch, which isn't bad because she hates other people's food and she's very fussy, but that's not the point. The point is you're paying like 300-400 euros for a week. You know, we can just about, let's say, pay for 1 week for one child. You can't do 6 weeks worth. The kid doesn't want 6 weeks either, but it's unsustainable. Childcare in that sense is really expensive. This year she's going on an audio course where she's going to record a museum guide for an exhibition that's going to be held a couple of weeks later, which is fantastic. So she's going to learn how to record audio and do things, and she's into theatre and performing, so that's all part of it. Radio, essentially. So that's great, not too expensive, not as much as the theatre, but it's still pricey. My little guy's probably going to go on a hip hop course, but that's only 1 hour a day for 5 days, so you're still looking after him. You still have to take him there and back. I mean, this is the other thing. Logistically, you still have to take them to where they're going. It's not overnight. We don't do overnight camping. I wouldn't send my kids away anyway. They wouldn't want to go. So you're still looking after them, and you're actually doing more than if they go to school more often than not, except no homework. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not sure how we're going to manage because my husband's also still working 3 days a week. We just have to sort of somehow manage it. Maybe she can go to friends for play dates, but then they obviously have to come back. We have to reciprocate. And then you've got more kids in the house on the days you're working. So that also doesn't work. So what are we supposed to do? You know, the whole school finishes at lunchtime and the summer holidays. I know every parent has this problem, but there is no affordable or really cheap childcare in the holidays where you can send your kids. I don't know. Have to just wait and see. I mean, my kids are older now. They're 7 and 10. So at least we can leave them unattended. We have a garden. They can cycle to the playground by themselves now and come back. So I guess they'll be kind of feral, which might not be a bad thing. We live in quite a safe area. So we'll see. Number 4, infrastructure meltdown. So we host the largest beer festival in the world in end of September, beginning of October, the Oktoberfest. And the city has to prepare for this every year. Now they don't prepare the entire year. It gets to, it seems, the summer, and the city council goes, oh wait, we've got all these things we have to do, like the deadline's looming, let's do it now before all these tourists, 6 million, 10 million, 5 million people, whatever, descend on the city for the Oktoberfest. Let's fix the roads. Let's do a Mr. Bull from Peppa Pig, let's dig up the road.
What's the problem, Mr. Bull?
Moo! We're digging up the road!
They dig up all the roads. Oh, we need to fix this transport line, whatever, of the U-Bahn on the trains. Let's stop all this train, let's stop this line, and we'll stop this one, and this won't run regularly, and nothing's going to work, and you can't get anywhere, and it's really hot, and you're on the train, and you're stuck, and you're on a platform, but the train's been cancelled because actually we can't run that train because of signal failure, because of work going on here. It's a complete nightmare. It's a complete nightmare. Summer public transport is a nightmare. Summer roads are a nightmare. And it's not even just the city, it's also all the motorways and everything. They dig up every road that they can possibly imagine, and then they just leave it. They don't even do anything with it. They dig it up, put big signs around it, 20, 30 kilometre speed limits, so you get caught speeding and get 70 euro fines and a point on your licence, and nothing is happening, and you can't go anywhere, and there's gridlock because everyone's on summer holidays and trying to get around. I know there's less school traffic and people on holiday, but there's still tons of traffic because the tourists are all here, and you can't get anywhere, and it's just hell, and it's hot, and everyone's hot, and it's no air conditioning, maybe in your car if you're lucky, so everyone's just grumpy and hot, and you can't get anywhere. It drives you mad. So they dig up the roads, they resurface the roads. I don't know what they do, but they're constantly doing stuff in time for the Oktoberfest, and more often than not they don't even finish it in time for the Oktoberfest, so half the roads are still with roadworks and gridlock, and half the lanes working. I go down this one road near the main station, which they've been working on for like 6 years now. They're tearing the whole big main station down the Hauptbahnhof and rebuilding it. and there's also a second train line they're adding to the centre. Much needed second train line, but they have to go really deep, and it's very dangerous because they're going underneath everything, the river and the buildings and the sewers, and it's taking another 12 years. It's going to be done in 12 years, which includes the station. And it's 12 years, and it's just bad. And this road in front of the main station, when it's not blocked off, every time I drive down there, the lanes have changed, and I'm always in the wrong lane. Suddenly I have to go right because I can't go left, or I can't go straight because they've changed them again. It's a complete nightmare. It's just really, I don't drive in the city much and I avoid it, but when I do, I encounter these situations, and it's like, just can't you just leave it? Do you have to constantly change the lanes? They're not even blocking. I don't know why they do it. I just don't know. I don't know. All right, number 5. Where is everyone? So there's a word here, which they also do this a lot in Italy and the southern countries. It's called Betriebsurlaub. Betriebsurlaub is basically the company shutdown. And this normally happens to small, very small companies, especially shops. People who run their own bakers, who run their own restaurants, a family-run business. They don't hire managers, they run everything themselves. When they go away on holiday, they shut shop. They just shut it. 3 weeks. Little sign in the window, handwritten, Betriebsurlaub, and the date they return. Often for the entire month of August. It can be anything from hairdressers to just anything. Normally smaller shops, because obviously if it's a big establishment, you have managers who can run it. You can, depending where you live, especially if you live in villages, you can just go down a wasteland where you've got the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. Every shop is just shut. They don't warn you. They just stick a little note in their window. So you have a visitor come, go, oh, let's go to our favourite cafe. There's this really cool cafe around the corner. I go there every Saturday morning, I don't know, for my morning coffee. Let's go there. You take your visitors there. Betriebsurlaub, back 2nd of August, that kind of thing. You're like, oh God, okay, let's go to this other one. Let's drive to the nice ice cream shop we go to. This great ice cream parlour. They must be doing a killing because it's summertime and it's hot. Oh no, wait, they've closed as well. Like, the logic behind it befuddles me. From a capitalist perspective, they often close at quite a busy time of year, but at the same time, I love that they do this because they take time out for themselves. They need a holiday and they go. You know, if you're in the States, even the UK, these people just don't take holidays. You either hire someone if you can afford it and if they could run your place, or you have to just keep going. Maybe you can take a week here or a week there, but not this constant shutdown. Germans are very good with money. They've always been good. It's still a very cash society. It's getting a bit more cashless and you know, cards and contactless pay since the pandemic, but they're still really good with money. So these people have their own businesses. They will save so they can afford the 3-week shutdown, 4-week shutdown, which is very commendable. And it's so weird because the minute summer holidays start, quite often, literally on the last day, you see all the parents picking up their kids with a carload of stuff, and they're already all with their suitcases in the car, and they go straight on holiday. Like they can't even wait. They can't even get their home. Maybe they go home to dump their school bags, but they literally go straight on holiday on the same day. I'm literally just picking up the kids on the last day. We get home, collapse, and go, okay, now we have 6 weeks. Now what do we do? It's a much more gentle thing, but it's all about going away and just disappearing for 2, 3, 4 weeks. And it's great if you can do it. I mean, we can't unfortunately do it. We're not in a position to be able to do that for so long. But it's amazing, and your whole neighbourhood is just empty suddenly. Like, you realise, I know when our neighbours go away because we water their plants and everything, but it's just people disappear. It's just eerie. And I was talking about gridlock in town because town is still really busy, but especially our neighbourhood, we're in suburbia, it's already quite quiet anyway in the daytime, really, and there's nothing here. There's no one around. It's just so bizarre. Everyone just buggers off. They bug off. Where they go to? Italy, mostly. So it's quiet here, and if you do go away, we went to Italy last year and the year before as well. We went camping, and the funny thing is, it's basically, most of Germany basically goes to Italy, because it's so close. And they call Munich, the Italians call Munich Monaco, and they call Monaco, Munich, they call it the northernmost city of Italy. And we have a huge Italian, we have a lot of Italian people that live here. We have Italian Weekend Oktoberfest, the middle one, where they all come up in their camper vans and you can see them parked around the city, and they go and get horrendously drunk and A lot of them start fights because they can't take the beer because they don't know how strong it is. Back to the Oktoberfest again. But you go to Italy, especially Lake Garda, Gardasee, you have people that have caravans every year, same spot, same dates, see the same holidaymakers. It's like a timeshare situation. They go back every year. It's basically little Germany in Italy. We went further south. Last year, we were near Bologna last year, and the year before that we were a bit further north, kind of near Venice. Mosquitoes were terrible, because it's all swampy. So avoid the swamps if possible. We've been to Italy a few times now because it's easy, but then you have to drive there if you're driving, and then you have to go to the Brenner Pass, and obviously you hit traffic. Everyone is going to Italy. Everyone's going on the Brenner Pass through the mountains. If there's one accident, it's just, you could be there for hours on end. Just hours sitting in hot, sun blazing sunshine, trying to get to Italy, just trying to get there. I have memories from my childhood of doing that as well. We didn't go as much to Italy. We tend to go to France, either camping, or we'd go to the UK to visit family. I went to Florida a couple of times. I've got family that lives there as well. But I guess a lot of people do fly different places now. We have people in this neighbourhood, friends of my daughter's, they've gone to New York, they've gone to the Seychelles, they've gone to Mauritius, they're going to just Thailand, all the nice places. More at Easter time because it's too hot there in summer. But yeah, Italy is quite often the summer retreat for a lot of Germans. So if you want to get away from Germany in the summer, don't go where the Germans go. That also goes for Mallorca. Mallorca and Italy are two very Germanified places, and Thailand to some extent, a lot of Phuket, I think. A lot of Germans go to Italy not just because of the proximity and because of the amazing food and the nice weather and everything, but also because they like the fact that the rules are different. There are no rules like in Germany. It's such a rule-making country here and a planning country, and you have to just plan everything out. Everything's in boxes and perfectly done. If you step out of that box, then you get shouted at by a complete stranger, blah, blah, blah. It's just really a very different country, Italy. I mean, we all know how laid back Italians are, and they just love their food and they have their long lunches, and shops all close in the afternoons, but they're open till 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and you can just go strolling through the cities and shopping, and it's all laid back. And you see the Germans loving every moment of it, and they sit in the restaurants going, yes, ciao bello, and oh, mamma mia, blah, blah, trying all their Italian, because they've been going since they were a child, so they all speak very basic Italian, and they love it. But then when they go back home, they don't take that calmness with them, maybe for a day. But it's like when I go on holiday, I relax, I'm happy in a nice, happy country, but I cannot be like this in my own country because it has to be all strict and blah, blah, blah. We have to obey the rules here. So it's a really strange mindset. I mean, we all change our mind a little bit when we go on holiday, but you can see the shift. It's incredible. The shift is so different. It's bizarre, but understandable, but bizarre. Number 6. Traffic, tempers and tailgaters. Oh, there's a magpie out there. Hello, Mr. Magpie. Anyway, the heat makes people cross. I know it makes people cross in every country, but in a country where people are already quite cross anyway, it just exacerbates everything, especially when it comes to traffic. Like I said, the traffic often gets worse in summer because they're resurfacing roads, they're shutting off lanes, they're doing whatever, I don't know, roads are melting so you can't drive on half of them. If it's really hot, they really do melt. And they might have to block off some because they're just a bit sticky. People still drive like idiots. They do it in winter when it's icy, they do it in summer when it's hot. People drive so fast on the autobahn where there's no speed limit. There are a lot of speed limits nowadays, which is good. I used to drive quite fast when I was young and foolish. Like I said before in an old video, I almost joined the 300 Club in a Lamborghini once. We used to get lots of cars through work, lots of press cars, and I almost crashed, and I could have died. It was just, even now, it was many years ago, I'm still horrified, and that was a turning point for me to not drive so fast and not drive close to people. You see people, and I'm not joking, I am actually not joking, they drive this close to each other. You're talking like 5-6 inches, maybe a foot, which is 30 centimeters, behind a car doing maybe 200 kilometers an hour, which is so fast. And I'm always in the inside lane. I don't like it because it stresses me out because they come behind you flashing their lights. I just move out the way anyway. There's 2-lane motorways here normally, so the slow lane, the overtaking lane. Unless I'm overtaking, I don't tend to go in that. It's too much. I'm older, I'm slower, I'm wiser. You save maybe 2 minutes doing that. on a journey to wherever. It doesn't save that much time. It makes you stressed, and the stress makes you more aggressive when you're driving. I have seen cars crashing. I have seen a couple of accidents actually happen, and I've seen many pile-ups with people just crashing into each other. In summer especially, you'll get these massive concertina pile-ups, just sometimes 20, 30, 40 cars. They even call them massencarambolage, and you just have these huge pile-ups where just every car just bangs the next one because no one keeps their distance and everyone's going too fast. And yes, they've got nice cars, yes, they've got fast cars with very good brakes, but it's not going to save you if you're driving this far behind the car in front of you. You just need to touch your brakes. You can just hit the side, anything can happen, and you can spin out of control and you take everyone down with you. And the tempers that go with this heat, and people blocking your lane because you get tourists driving here who poodle around in the wrong lane, and the whole gridlock and lanes closing and just general traffic jams and roadworks make people really cross as well. So you've got more beeping and you've got more shouting, and you can't give the middle finger because you can be reported to the police, but you can shout and yell and scream at someone, which is ridiculous because I wouldn't do that. So I just blow kisses at someone, or I have given the middle finger and risked prosecution from the police. Report my number plate, she gave me the middle finger. I'm like, yes, well, they were driving dangerously and almost took me down, so let's weigh that one up. So far no one's reported me, but it's just, I dropped my pen, but it's just, the tempers are bad, the traffic is bad, the gridlock is bad, and it just exacerbates more and more and more. The hotter it gets, the worse it gets, and no air conditioning, remember? Cars do have it nowadays, but if you're standing still in a traffic jam, you're not going to have the engine running, so everyone gets hot and everyone gets angry, and it's bad. It can be very bad. 7th point, let's have this as a summary, a general everything. Annoying habits that multiply in summer. Now, a lot of people still smoke here, cigarette smoke. Also, smoking weed is legal, so you do smell that everywhere now. I find it not quite as objectionable as cigarette smoke. I can't believe we used to sit in pubs with everyone smoking. I smoked a tiny bit at university, but essentially I've pretty much always been a non-smoker. I find it really offensive nowadays. I can't stand it. It's weird how we get used to things. You used to wake up Saturday morning with your hair smelling because you've been in the pub all night. Now you go to a beer garden, someone lights up next to you, or even at the table with you, you're sharing a beer bench, you can fit 10 people on there. And there's nothing you can really do because you're outdoors, you can smoke outdoors. A lot of people smoke here, a lot of young people. In my office, I think there are about 20 people in my office now, plus all the guys at the dealership downstairs. I'm sure only about 2 or 3 of us don't smoke. Everyone smokes. They're vaping or smoking. It's a weird thing. It's still a thing. We went to an open air theatre a couple of weeks ago, Shakespeare in the Park in English, and they actually had to announce at the beginning, because it's open air in the park, you should in theory be able to smoke in this little amphitheatre, but they actually announced at the beginning, no smoking allowed in the amphitheatre. You want to go for a cigarette, go and stand by those trees. So that was nice, because honestly it would have been quite offensive for me and the kids if someone had sat next to us and smoked, which legally they're allowed to, but they were asked not to, and no one actually did, so that was good. But it's kind of hard dealing with people that smoke. I deal with it. Most people will also say, hey, do you mind if I smoke? Then you go, well, can you wait till I finished eating or whatever? But it's just a thing, People smoke in playgrounds. You get parents sitting on benches smoking while their kids playing in the sand. You're just like, why are you smoking with all of these kids around? It's a weird mindset. It's also a bit of a resistance thing. I'll do what I want, It's such a nanny state in many ways, and so strict that these are the little rules they can break. I can smoke wherever I want to. Deal with it. Now, the waiters are famously grumpy here anyway. Here you have career waiters quite often. Quite often they're men or women in their older kind of just career. They've been doing it for years, 10, 20, 30 years. You don't get that many students because it's kind of a career and it's hard to get a job as a waiter in an established place. But you can get it in smaller cafes, and that's where a lot of the students work. But you get paid better here. You don't rely on tips. If you tip, you just round it up to the nearest euro or two. They don't need to be nice because they don't rely on the tips. So they're pretty bloody grumpy, especially the tourist hotspots. They can be so rude. They can be so rude, like slamming food down, ugh, and what, and this. Almost like the Parisian waiters, but that's more disdainful. Here they're just plain rude. And you go somewhere, you start speaking English, they assume you're a tourist, who obviously are treated even worse because they're not going to see you again. And then you just call them out by suddenly speaking in German, and then they realise that you're local. Not that it changes them, but they would be a little bit less rude, and at least they'll speak to you in German, which is then a little bit more respectable. But it's this being taken as a tourist and people try to rip you off, and just, you know, you get it everywhere. When you're a local and they think you're a tourist, it gets very, very annoying. Especially if you have friends come and stay and we're showing them around the city, then we're all the tourists. I'm like, but actually I'm a local dude. In fact, I've probably lived here longer than you. I'm probably older than you. So yeah, it's not the best thing, but we have to deal with it. And we do, in August especially, massively full of people. They all descend the city. You have that and Oktoberfest and Christmas markets a bit, but those are the two key points. So summing up, summer in Germany can be pretty lovely. It can be pretty shitty as well. It can be, you know, full of insects, full of wasps, full of things attacking you and biting you and sucking your blood. People can be beeping at you, people can be shouting at you. People are just, tempers flaring, you're burning in the sun, you're just, ugh. But there are good parts. Here's my other video. I'm going to put a link, I don't know what side, this side, to all the great things, because it is great, but also nothing's perfect and no one's perfect. And this place can drive me mad sometimes. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Leave comments if you have any. What are your experiences? And see you next time. And cheerio.